Okay, so this is officially our last day in Australia.
So since being located in Brisbane, we wanted to get as much work as possible. We weren't really interested in the farm work. We know that with farm work, sometimes as a married couple, you don't get put in the same room. I just don't think that was for us. Bethan got her event job at Rainforest Gardens. She absolutely loved it. I, however, have applied, spoken to multiple people, and I just wasn't getting any jobs. So it was a good few months before I got my first job. That job led me to helping out at an events company who supply chairs, tables for wedding events. Unfortunately, the people that I worked for, I won't mention any names because that's not fair, they were lovely people, but there was something wrong with the person that I was working with. I don't have any confirmation of what was going on, whether they were drinking, whether they were taking drugs. I could feel myself being put in danger working for them. So unfortunately I only worked for them for the weekend, and extra money is always good. And then Bethan got a second job in hospitality working at a cafe. I won't go too much into detail with that because I'm sure Bethan will tell you herself. So we're here at Lone Pine Sanctuary. What do you think so far?
I like it. It's really nice. It's a great environment for the koalas. I don't know about the bird cages though. They seem a little bit small.
Yeah.
You just have to hope, I suppose, that they've like rescued birds and not just captured any bird from outside and stuck it in a cage.
Well, I don't think so. Either that or it's already born here from a rescue.
Sorry for swearing. That scared me to death. I felt the breeze of its wing like go across my neck.
We'll try and slow that down, but if anyone didn't see that, that was a bird that just flew in between me and Bethan, and we're not stood.
We're literally like, I could reach out and touch Phil. Oh, that
Jam.
scared me so much. On the job front, we both had a couple of interviews for jobs, and it surprised us how racist these people were towards Brits. My first job interview here, went in for this interview and this lady was just asking me general questions. It was just for a general waiting on job, and this lady was asking me questions, and for every response that I gave her, if it wasn't the response that she wanted or expected, her answer would just be like a little and I'd be like, what's wrong? And she'd be like, it's typically British that you would say that. And I didn't know how to respond. I was like, what? Like, it still shocks me now, and I've had two job interviews that have been like that, and their responses was, typically British you would say that, or typical that you would say something like that. And I was like, whoa. She offered me the job, which makes no sense, and I didn't take it, and I made it very clear that I thought she was incredibly rude and unwelcoming, and I don't want to work for somebody like that, even if it is just to get a bit of extra money on our accounts. Why would I want to go to work every day and have to be around somebody who clearly doesn't think I should be here? It's not just me. Phil's had the same situation. As soon as this guy called Phil and Phil answers and he could detect the British accent, this guy said, oh, are you British or are you English? And Phil was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I'm not going to give you the job. And hung up. Oh, I mean, come on. Who does that? So I started my first job at Rainforest Gardens, which is a wedding venue, as event staff. It was mainly bar work, but I was just kind of helping out with setting up and packing down, that sort of thing as well. So general sort of event work, and it was the most beautiful venue I've ever worked at, and honestly Nick and Adeline, who are the owners of the company, are some of the nicest people I've ever met. It's honestly been an amazing job, and I'm gutted to have to leave, to be honest. I did have a second job. Started off well, started off with promise. The people were lovely, it was a really nice place. Yeah, that job went downhill very, very quickly. So I went into work. A couple of members of staff hadn't turned up to work, which I thought was odd. The place was absolutely empty, there was no customers, which again I thought was a bit odd. And I kind of had suspicions for a little bit of time leading up to this day that something was kind of going on within the business. And yeah, I was informed during that shift that the business was closing. The owner had gone insolvent, bankrupt, he had no money. I was still owed $1.5 grand worth of pay at this point, and instantly I knew I was not going to see that money. And I think that was the day that I realised that we're going to have to go home. You know, we've tried so hard to find jobs, and when we finally find jobs, it goes really, really wrong. Yeah, I was really gutted, really gutted.
I personally have struggled a lot more than Bethan. It's hard for me to admit that, and I think it all goes into this mental health, well-being thing. Not many people know that I struggle with that side of thing. But yeah, it's been tough. I'm not a massive home person. I don't get homesick. But it's been tough. Sorry, I'm trying not to get upset.
I think being here in Australia has made us realise how important it is having family nearby. Phil, he's really struggled. There was a moment where he got really depressed, and I was really worried about him. I didn't know what I could do to help. You know, I was going out working every single day and I was having to leave him behind. He couldn't find work, he really, really struggled. And it was difficult. Would you be the only one in my life with my love? I've been running, and you help me realize there ain't much time in life before the lights go down. So I wanna tell you now, you're laying in my wet bed, sleeping in my thoughts. On a trip to Carcassonne, where our dreams will get lost. I forgot the past and all its woes. Would you be the only one in my life with my love? I've been running. So whilst we've been in Australia, we've had a lot of ups and a lot of downs. It's been a roller coaster, but we've survived. I think when people ask us back home, like, oh, how was it? How was Australia? Was it amazing? I think the most accurate response would be to say we survived. We've had a lot of ups. Like, we've had some incredible experiences whilst we've been here. We've met some amazing people. Like, not many people can say they've been swimming with turtles and lemon sharks in the Whitsundays, or held a koala, or fed some kangaroos, or drove along the white sand beaches of Fraser Island. I mean, they are some of the top highlights. Like, they're like kind of once in a lifetime experiences, and they have been incredible moments.
So during my period in between work and trying to find stuff to do, I ended up signing up to the RSPCA. I love what they do. I'm a massive lover of dogs. We're lucky here to live with a family that have 2 dogs.
Hi, Mackie. Mackie's just come to say hello. You're such a good boy. We're gonna miss you, aren't we? We're gonna miss you, buddy. Can you come lie down? Lie down? Mackie, down? Good boy. Good boy. Okay, hopefully he'll stay down now. Where's all the kangaroos at, man?
There are no kangaroos. Nothing.
Over there.
Follow the trails. Come on, tracker.
Trails.
Get your food out.
Oh, I don't want to feed him. It's scary. Your nose. Your nose. Stay away from me. Fuck, Phil. I don't want to have the food on me. It's going to chase me. I don't mind a kangaroo, but I'm not going near that thing. You can smell fear, you know, as well.
There's one behind you as well.
No, there's not.
What's that?
I don't like birds, like, especially when they're taller than me. You don't want nothing from you. You just got rejected a little bit.
Sad times. They're bloody big. Huge. They're scary things really, but they're not. They wouldn't hurt you.
Well, you
Those are
never
the red
know.
ones that are meant to be more aggressive.
So what are these ones?
Grey.
Oh.
I don't know if you can see that, but it's the
brown
colour.
to me, not grey. It's brown. You're colourblind.
I'm the colourblind
You see in grey anyway, so.
So it's Tuesday today, and we fly next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday we're flying a week, yeah. And then we'll land on the Wednesday, and then we'll go and surprise your mum.
Yeah.
And then we'll go up to mine and surprise my family.
Yeah. So we've reached Singapore and we're getting massages.
Really hurts though. Pinches my calf.
Ouch. Proper gets your feet.
It's really nice on my feet, especially after being like on the flight. You feel like your feet are like pulsating. Oh my god. It literally feels like it pinches the back of your calf.
So we've just had our 8-hour flight. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad.
It went pretty quick. We actually slept for a lot of it, which is really good for us, especially you.
Yeah, pretty good.
Not too bad. It hurts, doesn't it?
But So the next you'll see of us is probably London, when Ewan comes and picks us up. Bye.
She won't be able to see you through the window.
What the
Surprise!
Oh! What the fuck are you doing here? Oh, look at hell!
We couldn't miss Prezzo.
Fucking hell! I've just made special custard cream slices.
Hello, you. You alright?
How are you? You alright?
You!
You fucking traveller, look at you.
Hello.
Smile!
Hello, you. You alright?
This way.
She said she doesn't feel very well.
Did she not come down? Where's that? On reflection, Australia's been amazing. It's been incredible. Not many people can say that they've lived in Australia, and you know, we're gonna go home, I think, having grown in personality and grown in understanding who we are, as cheesy as it sounds. But we have developed. Like, I look back at the way I was before we came out to Australia. I definitely think I've grown from that. I've changed a little bit, but hopefully for the better. I understand better now the people that really do care, you know, who your true friends are and who your true family are as well. And you know, that's not something that anybody can fully understand until they experience something like this. And that's the positive side of travelling. You know, you realise who the people are at home that mean the most to you, and the people who will always be there for you. And that's something that I'll always treasure. We will always treasure.